I'm going to conclude that nutty pudding, green smoothies, and caloric restriction with over 100 pills a day is how I achieve longevity. So I appreciate your divergent perspective.
Well, first of all, that sounds like an exhaustive plan. That many supplements and that kind of food just, number one, sounds exhaustive. And number two, just doesn't sound pleasurable to eat. Skeletal muscle is the organ of longevity. And I think that that is becoming much more mainstream in the concept that skeletal muscle is an endocrine organ. Above and beyond being fit, it truly is our metabolic sink. It is our body armor. It interfaces with the immune system. It's an endocrine organ. You name it, skeletal muscle interfaces with the result of many of the metabolic diseases that we're, quote, facing now, like diabetes, obesity, you name it, metabolic syndrome. Oftentimes the individuals are talking about it as if it's something out there. It's obesity is the cause. Obesity is just a result. Obviously, it is complex in the cause, and there can be many things that are going on, and same with insulin resistance. But at the end of the day, there's only one organ that we can do anything about, and that's skeletal muscle. And the data also supports that the more healthy skeletal muscle mass you have, the greater your survivability against disease. It's not if, it's when something is going to happen.
I never really thought about it that way, but it's a good point. I guess if I do some amount of cardiovascular activity, I can sort of improve my heart, but muscle, you can really affect this organ with what you do in your life. By doing resistance training, by doing the things in our lives, we massively, or even nutrition, which we'll talk about, both of those things. It's not like I can really do that with my liver, although I think there are things we could do to support our livers, but it's not like I can increase the size of my brain necessarily by, I guess maybe in some ways there are parallels, but muscle is like very visible, You do these things and you can change the amount of muscle and how well it functions. That's really interesting.
And not only that, you have cognitive control over it. It's something that skeletal muscle, you have voluntary control over. You cannot think of your liver and make it bigger. I mean, maybe you could exercise it by drinking, but the reality is you couldn't think your heart or your brain bigger. But skeletal muscle, when you create a plan and really focus as it relates to longevity, you have an exponential gold mine of something that you can improve upon. And again, when we talk about health outcomes, you have to be able to execute off of something that is going to create an outcome. And the outcome is clear with skeletal muscle. The outcome is clear, and it's something that you can absolutely gain tissue no matter what your age. You can gain both strength and actual skeletal muscle tissue no matter how old you are.